Hi, welcome to Ethics of Touch, the training by David Hinsberger. This is Scott Ryder, a consultant, and my brother-in-law.
Hello.
And I'm Mark Vincent. I'm the director of Common Ground, part of Northern Human Services. And we're going to be talking about a training today. This is a training about touch and about your role as a staff person or home care provider, or any paid kind of role for an agency that supports people with intellectual disabilities. And this is a really important training because, you and I have worked in this industry for a long time, and we've seen people be hurt and people not understanding who they are. They a lot of people thought that the staff person was their friend, and then they left, and it's kind of hurtful, and it becomes a real mental health issue because it's happened so many times for so many people.
And this is an important training because the reality of our society here is that the people we support are cast in devalued roles in society, and also the way traditionally people have been supported is the whole concept of privacy and the whole concept of touch hasn't been really looked at and fleshed out about how that impacts the person and what they're learning through being touched by staff and what they learn by having their privacy invaded by staff, what that does to the person. And what we're saying is that it makes the person victimizable, more victimizable by just the fact that we are invading people's personal space. Our job is to sometimes have to, in a bathroom or in a bedroom or whatever, to invade a person's personal space. But how do we do that respectfully, and how do we do that so we can make sure the person isn't victimizable?
Right.
I have statistics about people with disabilities. AI, so this is brand new. AI, if AI says it, it's real. People with intellectual disabilities face a significantly higher risk of sexual abuse, with studies indicating that up to 5.5% of adults with disabilities experience sexual violence, and they are over 4 times more likely to be abused than those without disabilities. Caregivers, including staff in residential or care settings, that's us, are frequently identified as perpetrators. So that means that even though we know that we're all good people, we're in this business, we're in this job for honorable reasons, there are people that are in this field for dishonorable reasons because they feel the people that are support.
Hinsberger talks about
what
in the training that people would be hired on Friday, and then giving a shower to an individual on Sunday, and they haven't even met this person, and they're giving them a shower.
Right.
And he talked about how the power differential, people that are clothed have more power than people that are naked. And imagine
just think about the last time you went to your doctor.
Yeah, it's awful. Yeah. And just imagine someone coming into the bathroom that you've never met before.
And the other part that's dangerous is that the person that's being invaded is totally fine with it because their whole life has been invaded by staff, hundreds of staff over the years that have come in and provided bathing help. When you're naked, and I guess that's the way life is. In some regard, we should be talking about this a lot, and what your role as a direct support professional should be, and how you can actually arm the folks that we support with the tools to be able to know when a situation is a dangerous situation. And we'll get into that later on.
I think one of the things that people forget is that privacy is kind of a learned thing. It's a learned skill.
Privacy is learned.
Yeah, and a lot of folks that have disabilities and they live with their families, they're not taught privacy. Not in every situation, of course, but there are a lot of people that, like when my son, I remember when he was 11 or 12 years old, he'd sit on my lap until he was like 11. And then 12 or 12-ish, he said, "I don't want to sit on your lap anymore, Dad." He naturally...
Did he say that?
He kind of, it just sort of naturally happened.
Yeah.
And it kind of doesn't always naturally happen
Right.
with those that we serve. And so we have to teach those kind of privacy, the stages of privacy.
But with regard to your son, though, I think living with you and your wife and my sister, your wife, just that naturally happens. Like there's a privacy time for mom and dad. There's privacy here, privacy there, and people pick up on that. But a lot of the people that we support don't have those situations. They're not living in a situation where there's natural privacy here, there. In
Right.
fact, people will go into a bathroom to help someone in the bathroom when they're adults. So the concept of privacy is really not there
Right.
for that person, which means, again, we'll get back to that makes the person more victimizable because anybody can go into the bathroom and be in intimate places. So we need to understand that and understand our role, that's really part of our role is to teach privacy, respect privacy, have the life that the person with disabilities have as normal as
Yeah.
yours and mine.
And a lot of people we serve have been treated like a child,
Yeah.
all the way up through, and therefore they haven't learned those privacy rules as they've gotten older.
Right.
So it's more of a challenge. They don't know. They don't know.
Right. Right.
So a lot of times invasions of privacy can be subtle, and I don't think people mean to be bad.
No.
I remember a friend of mine who used to work here. He hit a moose, ended up quadriplegic, ended up in a rehab hospital, and they refer to him as a quad, and that was his label. And then I went to see him in his bed, and it was a Friday afternoon, and the physical therapist and I think it was a nurse were talking right above him about their weekend plans. And I go, that's an invasion. Here's a guy, and they were feeding him a cold liquid through a tube, and I could tell he didn't like that. But and this is a guy that was a strong advocate when he was working here, and if he could have grabbed them, he would have taken them and shaken them.
He was a strong guy.
Because they were totally desensitized to
Right.
him as being an equal human being to them.
Yeah, I mean, and you go into any situation in the medical field, you get a subtle feeling of that because they're just diagnosing the thing.
Right.
They're not thinking about there's a real
He
person
became a
there.
quad.
Right, and he became a quad.
And that's what he was
Right.
known as.
But then to give them the benefit of the doubt, though, like how sad would that be to
Right,
actually
to
know
think about it.
each person that they're
I know.
dealing with? So I guess you get
heartbreaking,
desensitized,
yeah.
but I think in the field we're in, we need to understand we're in a privileged and responsible place. We're in intimate places with people,
Yeah.
and like we've said before, like to the staff, that's the job from this date to this time, but to the persons we support, that's their life. That's the entire life.
Yeah.
You are an integral part of their life, and so that's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
And what you do impacts the person that you're going to support. And in this regard, when we're talking about is the vulnerability that people with disabilities have, because sometimes it's a requirement that you have to be in an intimate places and invade privacy. That we're saying is actually privacy is actually a mental health issue as much as it is
Yeah.
a personal issue, that we all need private times.
And so many people we serve are so used to having their privacy,
Invaded. Yep.
that they just go along with it.
Yep. Yep.
David Hinsberger told a story about an 18-year-old girl that the whole team was sitting around
During their annual meeting.
like 10, 12 people were talking with her about her menstrual cycle
Yeah.
and how to take care of her menstrual cycle in front of everybody. And she didn't react at all. And whereas a typical 18-year-old girl would have stepped up and said, "What are you talking about? You can't talk about this in front of all these people.
Right.
That's a private thing."
Right.
And I think even today, I've gone to team meetings now,
I've
and
too.
because of the more of a medical model kind of way of looking at goals, through our health risk assessment
Yeah.
process. I think people are slipping back to that. I think
so.
anytime it's a private kind of a situation between people, it should only be limited to
As
those
small a group as possible.
limited people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think people
And
are
even discuss the fact that we're going to get into the, so that the person understands, oh, this is this is a private time, this isn't a public discussion here. It's a
Right.
private discussion here.
Yeah.
So, and then he talks about that people we support have been trained wrong about what's private, what's not, what's the private part of the person's body,
Yeah. Yes.
and that whole thing. Well, you won't get
And
into.
he really says it's any part that there's permission.
All private.
Yeah, it's all private until you gain permission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you need to talk about that too. This is private. This is private. That's like, may I do this? May I do that?
Yeah.
So that gives that person the power. Because again, we're talking about that the people who support are victimizable, and the statistics bear it out that it's a dangerous world sometimes out there,
It is.
and people need to understand and know what's a dangerous moment. Because David Hinsberger also talks about a doe in the woods phenomenon. Like, we all have a personal space, and if somebody enters it, we
We can feel it.
get why, and we look for a means of escape.
Yeah.
The people who support don't have that. Their skin is their personal space because it's invaded all the time anyway.
Yeah. Remember that time when you were in church and that woman came up to you and said that she loved you? You remember you felt your space was invaded?
I had a doe in the woods phenomenon
Yeah.
at that
I remember
point.
you were like that. You were like,
And I looked for means for escape.
yeah. It was shocking to all of us that she did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about touch,
Okay.
and particularly in our field and what people do. First thing, it should be contextual.
So this is what we should do.
This is what we should do.
Okay. Okay.
So it should be contextual, so that the person knows exactly why you're touching them.
Right. And doesn't assume anything
Doesn't
more
assume
than
anything.
what it is.
Right. So if you tap someone on the back, it's a nice job, you
Right.
say it out loud, it's contextual, you did a
Right.
good job.
Did a good job doing such and such.
Yeah. And you say it out loud. Why do you say it out loud?
Yeah. Well, so that when the person understands why they're being touched, and two, so people around the room can hear it. It protects you, the person,
Yeah.
because you're saying,
It's public and
Right.
it's not, everyone knows why.
right.
And because I think before we weren't asking those questions. When people were touching someone that they served, we never asked the questions. And I think as a program, we got to be doing that. We have to make sure that we understand why.
Yeah.
So if they touch the person and then they say, nice job, or, happy St. Patrick's Day, or whatever it is, that everyone knows
Right.
why they're touching them.
Right. And it should be brief.
Very brief, very brief.
So brief and contextual.
Yeah, and that's just for a real basic touch.
Right. The end should be in a public place, not in a private.
Public place. And there are alternatives. I think a lot of times people forget. People that are very affectionate forget that there are other ways of saying you care about someone, or they did a good job, or all those positive things. You can use your language. You can say, nice job. You did a good job today. And there's other ways of, you can write someone a card. You can give people gifts, but there's other ways to show appreciation than touch.
Right.
And I think staff have to reframe things, because I know you've had it happen to you before, where a person that we serve will come up to us and say, I love you.
Oh,
You are so nice. You're great. And then you always have to rephrase it back to them and go, I had a nice time with you today too.
Right. Right.
You don't say, I love you back. You say, or you explain your role. I'm here to assist you to be able to pursue what you want to do, or I want to be there for you.
Here's the thing, though, because if staff follow this rule all the time, I'm sure there could be the argument made that what kind of life is that for the person
Right.
where everything is all very professional. There's no genuine affection.
Yeah.
I think that we need to get into that a little bit of understanding what our role is in a person's life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we're not there to provide intimate support. We're not
Right.
there to
Meet all those.
provide affection.
Yeah. Yeah. Those unmet, perhaps.
It is absolutely legitimate that the person should receive affection, but it's not our role to provide that.
Right.
It's our role to provide this place where they can meet somebody or meet people that can provide that, some true friends,
Yeah.
right? I think that's sort of where we need to go. Because otherwise, their life is just stuck in a system, a human service delivery system, and that is the entire extent of their life, and that's where they're getting fed, both physically and mentally, from a mental health system and
Yeah.
developmental service system, and that's not a good place to be, really.
Right. We always emphasize that staff are there to assist people to have friends and relationships, and not to be the
that.
friend. And because we've heard so many staff, because you and I've worked in this field for so long.
Hundreds of years.
Yeah, it's that we've heard people go, well, I'll come back, I'll be their friend, I'm their friend, and then you don't see them again.
And I'm one of those people because I left this agency 3 years ago, right? How many years? 2.5.
Yeah,
And I had every intention of being back all the time.
yeah. You don't even see your sister. Yeah, so you're really bad.
But that's the life gets in the way, and you move on, and your intention doesn't hold after a while because you have this to do and that to do, and this new job and this responsibility. And at the time when I left, I had a full intention.
Right.
So that means if I'm just one of the people we support have had hundreds of people going through their lives, and every one of them probably said, I'll be back.
And every new staff says they're special to this person.
Yeah.
And which is great, but
Right.
we have to remind them there's been 45 before you.
Right.
And you're probably not going to stay here forever.
Right.
Yeah, because it's rare.
Yeah, the folks we support have been through hundreds of people,
Yeah,
all saying, I'm your special person.
yeah. And what is it? Strangers are just,
Staff they haven't met yet.
yeah, staff they haven't met yet. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, it's scary. We're going to talk about Dave's rules regarding hugging.
Dave's rules.
Yeah, this is
Dave
never
Hinsberger.
the most popular part of this training,
Well, we started getting into that, yeah.
particularly for people that love to hug. A lot of people love to hug. I'm not one of those people, and you're not one of those people.
Right. But the majority of the people that work in this field are very affectionate people. That's why
Yeah.
they get into the field in the first place.
Right.
They don't get into it for the money. They get into it for the intrinsic value of helping somebody and supporting somebody, which is all honorable and good. That's all good.
Yeah.
But the other side of that,
But when you come to work here, you are a staff person, and you're paid.
yeah,
And because of that relationship, you have a certain role. You're there to assist a person to do what they, meet their goals, their dreams, what they're pursuing in life, come alongside of people, but not to be that friend.
Right.
You can be friendly, but not be the friend.
Right.
That's not the role.
and I think we should fully admit that that's a very hard line a very
is.
fine line to straddle because you're an affectionate person. That's why you're in this field. We're saying no affection. You're not there to provide that affection. You're there to provide support and assistance
And find
and
people
find people.
that
Right.
are in the community that you develop relationships with
Right.
based on interests or work or whatever,
Right.
that you can hug, and
Yep.
that's fine.
Yep.
But as a paid person, hugging is, not something.
Right.
Now we should say that home care providers that develop relationships over time, there is a more of like a family
Right.
relationship. And Hinsberger always said this: the longer you know someone, the more access you have to touch.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, again, with permission and not just assuming I can touch someone that's lived here a year.
Right.
But
I just remember we did this training a few years ago, and when we were leaving the conference room, one of the folks we support hugged you like crazy. She tricked you.
yeah, she did. She snuck up behind me, and that wasn't fair.
It wasn't.
I couldn't do anything.
You just
about it.
finished doing.
And for those hugging people,
Yeah, and she
you
was
don't
one of
you don't
those.
remove it immediately. That would be
Right.
disrespectful. So
Right.
you gradually,
Right.
you sort of say it out loud,
Yep.
so everyone can hear it. Can I give you a side hug? Can I?
Right.
And say it out loud.
Yep.
So that
But no frontal hugging.
no full frontal hugging.
No full frontal hugging.
I use this at church too. I don't do any full frontal hugs.
My sister says you use it at home too.
I try. She doesn't allow that happen. But yeah, it's to protect. Again, it's to protect the person served from being victimized.
Yeah.
Because once the barrier is your skin,
Right.
it's hard to protect yourself. And so we want the individuals that we serve to know no one should be touching you. And if they do, you should be reporting it to the supervisor.
Right.
Because that's just their paid staff.
Right.
They shouldn't be touching you.
Right.
So
No full frontal hugging.
no full side hugs are
Right.
okay.
If it's
Given
brief
context.
and contextual,
Yeah.
brief and contextual and in a public area.
Right. And then, Hinsberger gets into all kinds of different touch,
Right.
about things you should and should not do. But this is just a clear rule.
Yeah. This is where
No full frontal hugs.
right.
I just want to reiterate something that it isn't that we don't want people to have friends, those that we serve to have friends. It is obviously it's something that we just want the people to have friends with people in the world,
Right.
not staff. Because we do believe the safest people in the world are people that have friends.
Right. And we're saying that you can have an intimate life as well. I mean, one of the
Yeah.
people that was on my team, she had a boyfriend, and the staff supported that whole thing, which was a lot of work.
It was.
She was in a wheelchair,
Yeah.
but very admirable. But and it's funny that she ended up breaking up with the guy. And I asked her, you still want to find a boyfriend? She goes, nah, it's too much work. She said, but she had the perspective because she had an intimate life in her life, and she's like, it's just too much work.
He did.
And I think very happy for them.
And her boyfriend's now married.
What?
Her boyfriend is now married. Yeah.
I heard that was going to happen. Yeah. Her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah. Ex-boyfriend, sorry. Yeah.
Wow, that's something. So yeah, that's neat. It's a lot of work. So anyway,
That's a whole new topic, Scott. Relationships are a lot of work.
but I know they are they are a lot of work. They are a lot of work. But I'm totally saying that's something that we hope for the folks who
Yeah, we
support.
want to have people have a full life.
But it's not the staff's job to provide that.
Right, right.
It's the staff's jobs to support that with a real relationship.
Right, we always say
not
that
paid.
we evaluate how we've done as a program by going to, unfortunately, a lot of funerals.
Exactly.
And the people that come, are they paid staff or are they the community?
Exactly.
And then we know
Right.
how we did as a provider of supports.
Right. It's
Because-
a statistic.
Yeah,
It is. And unfortunately, sometimes there are funerals where it's just the staff that
yep.
during their lunch hour have a little, and that's just a sad situation.
Yeah.
But I mean, the last few situations, funerals that we've gone to, it's been a public event.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're saying no full frontal hugs.
No.
A side hug, brief and contextual.
Mm-hmm.
We're saying no. The hand doesn't go under the arm ever.
Right.
It's always in a public place.
Yep. No closed doors, no.
Right.
And it is because we want to prevent people from being victims.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, the reason we are even doing this is because many years ago that did happen to a couple of people that we support.
Yeah.
That there was abuse of power. It was a consensual relationship, but it was obviously from our perspective and from everyone who saw, it was abuse of power. The two people were very victimizable, very needy, and the person was perpetrated a sexual relationship.
Yeah. Someone that was valued in the community
Was valued in the
took
community.
advantage of two devalued people.
Right.
Yeah.
And we just don't want that to happen. And it's our responsibility to help teach and assist and provide a platform for people to understand what's a dangerous situation, so the person's not victimizable. So a person does have a personal space that's further out, so they know when it's feeling uncomfortable. That's why we're here, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because the reality of realizing that the only friends you have are paid
Right.
would be an awful awakening.
Right. And this is a poem from somebody who was receiving services, and she wrote a poem called "Paid Friends." Carolyn Joyce Schwartz. Where can I cry so I'll be heard? Who'll listen to my word? I've paid so many ways to professionals on their business days for their expertise, their fee to buy a piece of love for me. I can no longer pay friends bare. I need one person who'll be there, who will not stuff back in me my tears and will not profit from my fears. I need someone to stay the night and not make money from my fright. I cannot pay them any more. I will not live my life a whore, for I would rather die than pay for friendship like I must today.
That's well said.
Yeah. I don't know where her. Yeah, she's from. She receives services from an agency like ours. So that's our job.
Yeah, that's what this whole training is about, is we're going to prevent people from being victims, making sure that our staff are assisting people to have friends in the community so they're not lonely, because loneliness is awful. So we don't want that. And we want the people served to also be able to have that, barrier, like you said.
Yeah, personal space where
So
they
that they're
feel.
pushing it away without even going to staff. This doesn't feel right. This is
I mean, that would be a wonderful thing to hear if a person came up to you that receives services from Common Ground and says,
yeah,
so and so is really getting a little close.
yeah.
It's not comfortable.
It's not comfortable.
That would be that means we're doing our job right.
Right.
Except for the person who's invading the personal space, obviously.
Yeah, there's some people though that are just in need of that. They like attention and they like touch, but I think the thing that we miss so often is we got to find someone else for that to be directed towards, not staff and home providers, but someone else. And we got to get better at that,
Yeah.
because the message is not to not give hugs. It's just staff and paid people.
Right.
That's the message.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you for coming to the training today. We've appreciated your attention, and we look forward to seeing you again at the next training.